10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The story happened in Canada in the year 2000. One night, a terrible incident took place. It was around 3 a.m. Everyone in the neighborhood was asleep, and the atmosphere was very quiet and peaceful. A family known the Ban family was only sleeping peacefully in their home. The father and his wife were sleeping in the bedroom. Suddenly, the father woke up and saw a man standing over him with a gun pointed at his head. When he opened his eyes fully, he realized that the man was wearing a mask. The masked man said, "Stay quiet. If I hear even one word from you, I will blow your head off. Do exactly as I say." Oh, the father was terrified and confused. He couldn't tell whether what was happening was real or just nightmare. He slowly looked toward his wife to see if she was okay. Then he noticed two men masked and armed men in the room. One of them was standing over his wife with gun pointed at her head. About 10 minutes later, the people living in the neighborhood wake up. The sound of several gunshots coming from the house of one of the wealthiest family in the area. The strange thing is that after long investigation, the police discovered that the case was much bigger than just the three men who entered the house. The real reason they had come there was extremely shocking and mysterious. Hello my dear friends who follow my YouTube channel Nasri, welcome back. I hope you are all doing well. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well too. Today I brought you another very interesting story. This case happened in Canada as I told you earlier, and I wanted to share it with you because it's truly fascinating. Sit back and give me your full attention and listen carefully. Even if you are asleep while listening, you can always come back and continue later. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future stories. Welcome back once again, my friends. This incident, as I told you before, happened in Canada and involved a family of 4. The family members were the father named Ban and mother named Ban. Their oldest son called Vix, their daughter called Jennifer, and this is where the story begins. Although this family lived in Canada, they were ethnically Chinese. Originally, they had been living in Vietnam, where they were born and raised. During the large wave of immigration in the 1980s, the family fled Vietnam. They traveled to Canada by boat. When they arrived, they applied for asylum and were welcomed. They were later given legal status to live in Canada. At that time, Han Ban and his wife Big Ban were young. They understood each other very well, whether it was business, family life, or hard work. They always supported one another. They were a hard-working couple who never gave up. After searching for a choice for a long time, Han Ban finally found work at a car manufacturing factory. His wife also got a job at the same factory. The work was very difficult and physically demanding, but they worked hard every day. In return, they earned a good income. Although life was not easy, the hard work paid off, and they were able to build a comfortable life. Later, they had a son and named him Felix. And then, after that, they had a daughter and named her Jennifer. The family lived a peaceful and comfortable life. Han Ban and Big Ban had one main goal: to invest in their children's future. They wanted to give them the best education possible so they could succeed in life. Han Ban especially worked very hard because he had dreamed that one day his children would become educated, successful, independent people who never have to depend on anyone else. That was the biggest dream of both parents. As Felix grew older, he graduated from engineering college. Now let's talk about Jennifer. Jennifer was a very talented girl. God had blessed her with many abilities. She was excellent in her studies and was also highly skilled at playing piano and playing ice skills. From the beginning of her education, she always earning high grades because of her own hard work and the encouragement of her parents. She performed especially well in her exams. As the time went on, her parents were amazed by her achievement. She constantly received A grades, the highest marks possible. Hand band and big band were extremely proud of their daughter. They admired her dedication, her intelligence, and her ability to achieve excellent results. They had always hoped for Jennifer. Jennifer's father had a big dream for her. He always told her, "My daughter, I want you to become a doctor, not just any doctor, but one of the most respected and influential doctors in Canada." However, Jennifer explained to her father that she had phobia of blood. She said, "Dad, I can't stand the sight of blood. Please don't ask me to become a doctor. That career isn't for me." Her father understood and replied, "That's okay. What about becoming a pharmacist? It's a great career. You can earn a good income, help people, and learn about medicines." After thinking about it, Jennifer agreed, smiled, and said, "Okay, Dad, I will do as you wish." She believed that respecting and obeying her parents was important. The family was also very good at saving money. Even though they earned a good income from their job, they didn't waste it in unnecessary things. They avoided spending careless and saved as much as they could. After years of hard work and saving, they were finally able to buy a large luxury house in a beautiful neighborhood. They also bought 2 expensive high-quality cars. The family had achieved the comfortable life they had always dreamed of. Even so, their biggest dream was still to see their 2 children become successful. They always encouraged them, supported them, and did everything they could to help them build a bright future. Then came the night of November 8, 2010, at around 3 a.m. When the city was quiet and almost everyone was asleep, 3 army burglaries broke into the family's house. At that moment, 3 family members were inside the house: Handpan, his wife Big Ben, and their daughter Jennifer. Their son Felix was not home because he was studying at university where he was studying. The 3 intruders quietly walked into the parents' bedroom. As I mentioned earlier, Handpan suddenly woke up. He saw a masked man pointing a gun at his head. He also saw another masked man holding a gun to his wife's head. The intruders warning them, "If either of you speak, we will shoot you." And they hear right here. The couple stayed silently. The robbers then tied both of them tightly, binding their hands and feet. After that, they forced them down straight into the basement. While all of this was happening, Jennifer was still awake in her bedroom. She heard strange noises coming from downstairs. Curiously and worried, she quietly thought, "What's going on?" She slowly got up from her home to see what was happening. She wondered what was happening in the house. A few minutes later, she suddenly realized that the masked man was standing right behind her. The man immediately pointed a gun at her. He tied her up and took her downstairs to the basement where her parents were being held. The 3 family members were made to sit side by side, all with their hands and feet tied. Then one of the robbers said, "Tell us where the money is." At first, it seemed obvious that were ordinary robbers who had broken into the house to steal money. Jennifer's mother spoke first. She said, "There is a drawer over there with about $1,000 in. Please take it and leave us alone." One of the robbers became angry. He shouted, "Are you crazy? Do you think you will come all of this way for just $1,000? You live in luxury house and drive expensive cars. We know you are rich. Tell us where the real money is." The frightening mother begged them. He said, Please, that's all the cash we have at home. The rest of our money is in the bank. If you want to, we will go to the bank tomorrow and withdraw it for you. Just take the $1,000 and let us go. While this conversation was happening, the robbers ordered Jennifer to stand up. Even though she was still tied up, they took her back upstairs and locked her inside her bedroom. Then they returned to her parents. They ordered them, stand up, face the wall, don't look at us. Hanban, the father, was confused. He thought, why are they making us face the wall? Are they about to leaving? But if they are leaving, then just go. But they were not leaving. At that moment, Hanbak, the father, realized something terrifying. These men had not come just to steal money. They were still pointing their gunshot at him and his wife. If they were ordinary robberies, they would have taken the money and left it. Instead, it looked like they had come with a much dark plan. A few moments later, Jennifer, who was in her bedroom, suddenly heard 5 gunshots fired one after another. When Jennifer heard the gunshots, she was terrified. She immediately called 911. She cried, "Please come quickly. My father and my mother have been killed. Please help me. Please come." The 911 operators tried to calm her down. "Please stay calm. Tell us exactly what happened and what's going on." Jennifer kept crying. "My parents have been shot. I hear gunshots. Please hurry." While she was still talking to the emergency operators, she suddenly heard someone shouting from the basement. The voice cried, "Help me, please save me." The 911 operators also heard that the voice over the phone. It was Hanbak, the father. It was incredible. Even though he had been shot 5 times, and both he and his wife had been shot in the head, Hanban was somehow still alive. It was nothing short for a miracle. The operator immediately told Jennifer, "If you can try to help your father. The police on their way." But the Jennifer replied, "I can't help him. My hands are tied. I can't do anything. Please come quickly." A few minutes later, the police arrived at their house. They rushed into the basement. They were found the big and the mother lying on the floor. She had lost a lot of blood and was already dead. Nearby, they found the Hanban, the father. He was still alive, but he was in critical condition. He was barely able to speak, breathing with great difficulty and bleeding heavily. The police immediately called for an ambulance and he was rushed to the hospital. Soon after arriving at the hospital, he lost consciousness and fell into coma. The doctors were not sure whether he would survive. His condition was extremely serious. Meanwhile, the police began searching the entire house. They carefully examined every room, looking for fingerprints or any other evidence that could help identify the attackers. Unfortunately, they found almost nothing. Criminals had been extremely careful. They had left no fingerprinting and every little evidence behind. The police began to believe these men were not ordinary burglars. They were professional killers. At that point, the only person who could possibly help with the investigation was Jennifer. She was the only survivor who had actually seen the attackers. The robbers had taken her back to her bedroom instead of killing her. The police could not understand why they had spared her. Had they forgotten about her? Or had they intentionally left her alive? The case quickly became one of the biggest stories in Canada. People across the country were shocked. Many gathered to mourn the death of Jennifer's mother. At the same time, people felt a deep sympathy for young Jennifer. Friends, neighbors, and members of the community visited her to comfort her. They prayed that the God would give her strong patience and peace during such painful time. The next day, after Jennifer had arrested a little, detectives brought her to the police station for an interview. They told her, "We want you to tell us everything that happened that night. We are not questioning you because we suspect you. We simply need your help to identify the people who committed this terrible crime. The police wanted to find the people who had committed the crime. They asked Jennifer to explain exactly what had happened that night. Although the public felt very sorry for her, some people began to suspect her. Even some of the detectives had questions. They asked themselves, why did the attackers kill both the parents but leave Jennifer alive? If they wanted to leave no witnesses, why didn't they kill the only person who could identify them? And if her hands were tied, how was she able to call the police? These were important questions. When Jennifer was interviewed, she said, I was just in my room using my phone late at night when all of this happened. She then explained everything that happened. She said, after they took me back upstairs to my bedroom, I heard my mother's crying. She kept saying, please do whatever you wanted to us, but spare my daughter. Don't kill her. Please save her. I think the attackers felt sorry for me after hearing my mother's pleas. That's probably why they let me alive. On the first day, the detectives did not pressure her with too many questions. She was in deep shock. She was trembling, terrified, and emotionally devastated. So they ended the interview and allowed her to rest. The next day, they brought her back for another interview. This time, they asked her one of their biggest questions. They said, how were you able to call the police if your hands were tied? Jennifer replied, is that what you wanted to know? Okay, I will explain. She demonstrated what had happened. She said, please tie my hands. The detectives tied her hands. She looked at them and said, no, that is not how the attackers tied me. They tied my wrist higher up, which still allowed me to move my hands a little. She continued, because of that, I was able to reach into my back pocket, take out my phone, and call 911. The detectives then asked her another question. Even if that's true, how did you hold the phone to your ear, and how could you hear us while talking? Jennifer answered, I turned in on the speakerphone. That's how I was able to talk to you. Her explanation made sense, and the detectives accepted the parts of her story. However, something still bothered them. They were asked to describe the attack. She spent about 4 minutes explaining everything that had happened without stopping even once. It almost sounded as if she had memorized every detail beforehand. That made some investigators suspicious. Still, they couldn't prove he had done anything wrong. For now, they accepted her explanation about the phone and let her leave. Even so, the police continued to watch her closely. They quietly monitoring her movements and kept an eye on everything she did. 2 days later, the funeral of Big Ben, her mother, was held. On the day the mother funeral, the detectives secretly watched Jennifer's behavior. They noticed something unusual. She didn't seem sad. He did not cry. He did not appear heartbroken. He behaved as if nothing had happened. This made the detectives even more suspicious. They thought her mother had just been murdered. This young girl attended her own mother's funeral. She should be crying or showing some grief. But Jennifer, he almost did no emotion. The detectives also noticed another strange behavior. Sometimes she would suddenly become frightened for no clear reason. If someone unexpectedly opened a door, she would jump in fear. She seemed nervous all the time. Another thing that caught their attention happened during the interviews. Whenever she told the story of the attack, she sometimes laughed without meaning to. A smile would suddenly appear on her face. Then she would quickly stop herself, as if she had remembered that she was supposed to look serious. It almost seemed as though she was reminding herself, stay calm, the detectives are watching you. The day after funeral, something unexpected happened. The father woke up from his coma. Although he had been critically injured and nearly died, God had spared his life. His time to die had not yet come. As soon as the detectives heard he was wake up, they rushed to the hospital. They asked him, first of all, how are you feeling? Do you remember what happened? Since you were shot in the head, we are not sure how much you remember. Handband, the father replied, my mind is clear, I remember everything. The detective said, good. We have already interviewed your daughter Jennifer. She told us her version of what happened. We wanted to know if her story is accurate or if anything is different. The father looked shocked. He held his head and said, no, what she told you is not true. She lied to you. Listen carefully. I'll tell you what really happened. The detective replied, "Go ahead, we are listening." The father began. "From the very beginning, my wife and I had only one dream: to give our children a good education. We decided to have only 2 children because we wanted to provide them with the best future possible. We wanted to raise them, well-educate them, and help them succeed in life." He paused before he continued. "But I made a big mistake. I put too much pressure on my children. Especially when it comes to school. I kept telling them that education was the most important thing in life. I always said, study hard. I want both of you get highest grade. I don't want you to see any lower than A+. He said. Unfortunately, Jennifer wasn't a top student. She was very talented at playing the piano and had many other skills. But in school, she was only average student. That wasn't enough for me. I wanted her to be at the top of her class. I kept pushing her and expecting more from her. Most of the time she brought home B grades. Even though she worked hard, I was never satisfied. Father continued. Then one day something changed suddenly. She started bringing home A+ grades in every exam. He looked down and said, "I didn't realize it at the time, but my daughter had become exhausted from a pressure I was putting on her. And that was when she started doing something that I never expected her." Father continued his story. He said, "My daughter began forging her exam results. She showed me a fake report cards with high grades. Whenever I saw them, I was so happy. I thought my daughter has improved. She's finally becoming an excellent student." But the truth was very different. After she became good at creating fake report cards without getting caught, she stopped going to school altogether. Every morning, she pretended she was going to school. She would leave the house carrying her books just like normal student, but instead of going to the class, she went somewhere else. Father explained, "Our family had a strict rule. Our children were not allowed to have a boyfriend or girlfriend while they were studying." However, Jennifer broke that rule. She had a boyfriend named Daniel. Every morning, she would tell her parents, "I'm going to school." But after leaving the neighbor, she would change the direction and go straight to Daniel's house. Daniel was a not good influence. He had dropped out of school instead of studying. He became involved in selling illegal drugs and made money from drug dealers. Father said, "Can you imagine, for 3 years? 3 years my daughter lied to us. Almost every single day she carried books, pretended to attend the school, but secretly spent her time with her boyfriend. Eventually, her lies become even bigger. She created a fake graduation certificate. She came home smiling and proudly told her parents, "I graduate, here's my certificate." Certificate was completely fake. Later she went even further. She forged an acceptance letter from one of Canada's top university. The letter claimed that she had been accepted into prestigious medical program. She had made the entire document herself. The official stamped the signatures and everything else were fake. She mailed the letter to her own home so that her father would believe it had come from the university. When the father saw the letter, he was overjoyed. He said, "Wow, my daughter has made me proud." He bought her gifts and encouraged her even more. From then, Jennifer continued pretending to attend university. She even brought her real university textbooks so everything would look like believable. She acted like a hard-working university student, but no matter how long the lie continued, the truth eventually came out. After some time, her parents began to suspect something was wrong. The first thing they noticed was that Jennifer had completely changed. Because before she was used to spending hours studying, she often talked about her teacher and classes. Now she never studied. She never mentioned her professors or anything happening at university. She no longer behaved like a student at all. This made her parents suspicious. They finally decided, let's secretly follow her and see where she really goes. The next morning, Jennifer picked up her books and left her home pretending she was going to university. Without her knowing, her parents followed her. What they saw left them completely shocked. Instead of walking toward the university, Jennifer turned and walked into the opposite direction. Her parents quietly followed her. They watched as she stopped in front of house. A young man came outside. He took the bag she was carrying, and then two of them went into the house together. At that time, father felt completely devastated. He thought, so this is what my daughter had been doing. I believe she was at the university, but she has been coming here to see a man. The parents did not go inside. Instead, they quietly returned home. Father was angry that he could hardly wait for Jennifer to come back. Later afternoon, Jennifer came at home her usual time. She was carrying her university books and acting as if she had just returned from the class. When she arrived, she saw her father sitting outside the house staring at her. She immediately became nervous. He asked, Dad, what's going on? He looked at her silently for a moment and then asked, Where have you come from? She answered, From university. Father replied, University? You're carrying books, but you didn't come from any university. You come from your boyfriend's house. Tell me the truth. I sent you to get an education. What is it all this? Jennifer realized that her secret had been discovered. She swallowed herself nervously and said, Dad, please leave me. I come from university. Father shouted, No, you didn't come from university. You come from your boyfriend. Explain yourself. Jennifer stayed silently, unable to control his anger. Father stood up and slapped her hard across the face. She burst into tears and cried, Dad, please calm down. I'll tell you everything. Father said, Then tell me the truth. Jennifer took a deep breath and confessed. She said, Dad, I have been lying to you. She told him everything, from the beginning to end. She admitted that for all these years she had never gone to school or university. She explained, I got tired of studying. Because of the pressure, I gave up. You told me never to have a boyfriend, but I did. His name's Daniel. He's my boyfriend. And this is where he lives. Then she looked at her father and said, No, you know everything. Whatever decision you make is up to you. I am still your daughter. Please remember that you are the one who raised me. Father was furious. He replied, Don't ask me to remember that you are my daughter right now. I don't even want to hear these words. He was in completely shock. He could not believe that she had lied to him for the whole 2 years. He stood there speechless. Everything he had believed was a lie. Finally, he gave her a choice. First, you can leave this house right now. Go live with that man and never come back. Or, second option, you can end that relationship immediately and return to your education and never see him or even speak to him again. Then he added, choose one. If you don't want to choose the second option, then don't even come back into this house. Jennifer stood there quietly. She thought carefully about what her father had said. Jennifer thought for a while and then said, Dad, you and my man are my parents. I could never choose anyone over you. I'll stay at home. The truth was that if she had chosen to live and live with Daniel, life would have been very difficult. Daniel did not have a stable job or much money, and there was no one to support them financially. So Jennifer decided to listen to her parents. She agreed to return to school. However, things were no longer the same as before. Her parents no longer trusted her. They kept a very close eye on everything she did. Her phone use was very strictly limited. She was allowed to use her phone for only 2 hours a day. At the end of each day, she had to hand her phone over to her parents. They checked it to see who she had called or sent message to. Her mother also took her to school every morning. She stayed until she was sure Jennifer had entered the school, and only then would she return home. From that point on, Jennifer was under constant supervision. After Jennifer arrived at school, each morning her mother made sure she actually went inside before leaving. Her father also stayed in regular contact with the school administration. He constantly checked on her progress and looked towards her books to make sure she was really studying. After living under these strict rules for some time, Jennifer felt trapped. He felt overwhelmed, stressed, and under constant pressure. One day, while sitting alone, she drew her book aside and said to herself, "I can't live like this anymore." She secretly contacted her boyfriend Daniel. Even though her parents monitoring her phone, she had been finding ways to communicate with him. Before her parents checked her phone each day, he deleted all of their messages. One day she told Daniel, "I need a favor. I want you to send me the phone numbers of some killers. I will talk to them myself." She continued, "My parents have made my life miserable. I can't live with all this pressure anymore. I miss you, and I want us to be together. I want my parents out of the way. Please send me their contacts." Daniel was shocked. He asked, "Do you really love me that much?" She answered, "Yes, why not?" Daniel replied, "Okay." Because Daniel was already involved in drug dealing and criminal circles. He knew people connected to violent crimes. He quickly sent her a phone number. He said, "Call this number." Jennifer contacted the person and they reached an agreement. He said, "My parents have made my life miserable. I will pay you $10,000. Reach into our house, pretend you are robbers and kill both of my parents. After the job is done, I will pay you." The man agreed. They said, "No problem. We will take care of it." On the Tuesday night, Jennifer secretly guided them. She gave them all the information they needed. The killers entered the house pretending to be an ordinary robbers looking for money. Then everything happened exactly as I described it earlier. They tied up her parents, took them to the basement, and carried out the attack. The father later told the detectives, "My daughter is a very good liar. He lied to us for years without us knowing." The father continued, "While we were tied up in the basement, I saw her come downstairs. She wasn't dragged there. She walked down the stairs herself." He said, "You looked at the masked man, greeted them calmly, looked at us, and then walked away." At that moment, I knew they already knew each other. She wasn't scared at all. She looked completely comfortable around them. The detectives were stunned. They said, "So our suspicions were correct. We felt something wasn't right about her. We felt that something wasn't right about her behavior from the beginning. Even though she was clever, we always suspected her." At that point, the detectives brought Jennifer in for questioning again. Meanwhile, Jennifer had been secretly hoping that her father would die in the hospital before he could speak. The detectives lied to her. They said, "We are sorry about your father. He's alive, but he was shot in the head. His memory isn't working properly. We are afraid he may not even recognize you." Jennifer acted sad and replied, "Oh no, I'm so sorry about my father." But deep inside, she was thinking, "Yes, I hope he died." The detectives then handed the case over to one of the Kennedy's most experienced investigators. That man, his name was Billy Scott. He was known for his unique investigating technique. Sometimes he would ask difficult questions and put intense pressure on the suspect. Other times, when he saw the suspect become emotional or stressed, he would suddenly become calm and friendly to make the person relax. His goal was to get the suspect to lower their guard and eventually reveal the truth. The detectives had one goal: to make the suspect eventually tell the truth. Sometimes he was very strict and aggressive. Other times he became calm, kind, and understanding. He changed his approach depending on the suspect's reaction. Jennifer was brought in for another interview. The investigation lasted for almost 4 hours. The experienced detective questioned her relentlessly. Sometimes he raised his voice and brushed her. Then he would suddenly calm down and say, "It's okay. These things happen. I'm here to help you. I just want you to tell me the truth." After nearly 4 hours, Jennifer became exhausted. "You finally said, 'You have worn me out. I have no energy left.' Fine, I will tell you everything." The detective replied, "Okay, go ahead. I am listening." Jennifer said, "Yes, I was the one who contacted the killers. But Then she quickly added, "However, not for the reason you think." He claimed, "I didn't hire them to kill my parents. I hired them to kill me." He continued, "My parents made my life miserable. They forced me into an education I didn't want. They constantly pressured me to study. They only allowed me to use my phone for 2 hours a day. They made me hate my life." He said, "That's why I contacted the killers. I wanted them to end my life." The detective was surprised by how quickly he had come with another explanation. He realized he was very intelligent and extremely skilled at lying. If the father had not survived, or if he had lost his memory, her story may have sounded believable. She continued, "At first, I wanted them to kill me, but on the day of the attack, I changed my mind. At the last minute, I thought to myself, I'm still young, why should I die? Maybe I should keep living and be patient." He claimed that she then called the killers and said, "I'm sorry, I have changed my mind. I don't want to die anymore." According to her, the killers replied, "You promised us $10,000. Either pay us the money now, or we will come to your house and kill your parents instead." She said, "I was terrified. They come to the house and carried out their threats. They shot my parents and then I escaped." When she finished speaking, the detective slowly clapped his hands. He looked at her and said, "You are very clever, girl. I have never met anyone who can lie as well as you." He already knew she had admitted to contact the killers. She had simply changed the motive, claiming that she wanted to kill herself instead of her parents. Then the detective asked one final question. "Where did you get the killer's phone number? Who gave it to you?" Jennifer answered, "My boyfriend Daniel gave it to me." The detective said, "Bring Daniel in." Daniel was arrested and brought in for questioning. "Jennifer has already told us many things. We know you are her boyfriend. Now tell us the truth. How did you get the killer's phone number and why did you give it to her? Listen carefully, I will tell you everything." He said, "Jennifer is the one who wanted her parents died. She asked me for the killer's phone number and I gave it to her. But she was the one who paid them. She wanted her parents murdered." Daniel held nothing back. He revealed everything he knew. It was as if he was saying, "I'm not going down alone." Daniel became furious. He said, "A woman who planned the murder of her own parents wanted to be with me? Never. I will never forgive you." He continued, "You planned their death. You hired the killers. You paid them. This was all your idea." Jennifer replied, But what about our love? What about everything we planned? I did all of this because I wanted us to be together." Daniel answered, "Don't talk to me about love or marriage. You planned the murder of your own mother and father. Stay away from me." In the end, neither of them was released. Daniel was arrested because he had helped by giving Jennifer the killer's phone number. Jennifer was also arrested. The 3 hired killers were caught as well. All 3 of them were confiscated and sentenced to life imprisonment. My friends, this shocking case ends here, but there are many lessons we can learn from it. The first lesson is that, in most cases, your parents are the people who care about you the most. Although not every family is the same. Jennifer believed that when her parents were gone, she would finally be happy with her boyfriend. Instead, her boyfriend rejected her completely. He refused to marry her or even continue the relationship. Meanwhile, her parents had only wanted to have a good education and successful future. Another lesson is that parents should be careful not to place excessive pressure on their children. The father and the mother believed they were helping their daughter succeed. However, the pressure became too much for her to handle. Instead of asking for help or telling the truth, she chose a terrible and magic path that destroyed her life. So, thank you, my dear friends. Thank you very much for watching and staying with me until the end of the video, until the end of the story. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you didn't miss any future stories. See you in the next video. Bye bye.